The computer is one of the indispensable tools of any computer student. Knowing how it works would help us to detect the origin of some of the problems that PCs have. We must know that any computer has two sections, the hardware and the software. The hardware is the physical part of the PC. This is where the parts of computer are located and where the electricity does its work. The hardware of computer works in binary language, in other words, with zeros and ones. This means that the electricity either passes or doesn't pass. It's composed of three basic elements, the CPU, the RAM, and the storage. However, a desktop computer has more components that I will talk about right now. The central processing unit, or CPU, is the brain of the computer. This is where all the data is processed and all the operations that we input to the PC are performed. The random access memory, or RAM, is a type of memory that doesn't store data permanently, but does it temporarily to make the data transfer and process faster. Storage is the place where all types of data are stored. In the past, hard drive disks or HDD were the storage standard. However, nowadays solid-state drive or SSD are more efficient and faster. The graphics processing unit, or GPU, is a dedicated graphics piece, commonly included as part of the CPU, although it has been separated from the CPU so that the GPU can be bigger and have more power to perform more complex processes. It's with the GPU that we visualize on screen what we process. The power supply unit, or PCU, is the piece that supplies power to the computer. The motherboard is the base of the computer. It's here where all the components are connected to communicate and form the PC. Now that we know the hardware, let's talk about the software. The software is the intangible part of computer. It's here where the signals that the hardware sends have a meaning for the PC in the form of instruction. We can say that the operating system we have, such as Windows, Linux, and MacOS, is a software that must be had to communicate with the computer in a simple way. Although it might seem that the software is something that only programmers know how to use, but it's really more familiar. When we use applications like Google Chrome, WhatsApp, an editing program, or even a game, we are using software, as they are dedicated programs so that anyone can use them. The way in which the user interacts with the software and hardware is through peripherals, among which we find the keyboard that has the function of sending the characters that the person writes. There is also the mouse that lets the user move throughout the space with an arrow, and finally, we visualize everything on the monitor. Without it, we couldn't see anything of what we do.